For many years I have been going to Barbados to visit family and friends. None of my business would be complete, however, until I went and talked to Carl. We would sit and talk about everything from world politics to how to prepare a pork chop. Carl enlightened me to the real meaning of life, which was to enjoy it to the fullest. He never took for granted the beauty that surrounded us as we sat on his patio, a sitting area that was ever changing as Carl continuously changed its color and design. Every little trinket that Carol had brought him over the years managed to find its way sculptured into his little retreat. A small little cannon that held a bottle of cockspur was always at the center of the table next to an ice bucket. My glass awaited me next to my chair when Carl knew I was coming over. Just a few rocks, a splash of rum, and a little coke, he would always say. On every visit, he would have me photograph his refuge from all different angles. I gave him copies of them upon returning home, and he would put them in his scrapbook. The most prized possession in his memoirs was a photograph of his then young wife, Kay, on the beach in a bathing suit. She is just as beautiful today as she was then, he would say. After her passing, he would say the same thing, only with a tear in his eye, as he kissed her picture. My friend and I would discuss the world's problems. He was much up to date on current events. Most thought Carl retired soon after sunset because he got up so bloody early. In reality, he would lie in bed with the BBC catching up on the world's news. This was quite evident when talking to him, as he would fill me in on what was taking place around the globe. The low-volume radio was not the case during the day, as music tapes I would make for him blared from the speakers. The music took second seat when a cricket match was on. Carl would sit there in his cricket hat and try to explain to me what was taking place. Over the last year or so, I have been calling him frequently, usually in the morning, as I knew he would be in his sanctuary watching the new day begin. I would sit here looking at my photographs as Carl would describe the color of the sea, the gentle breeze that was moving the trees, and his pet birds that were nibbling at the crumbs he had sprinkled. I last spoke to Carl on his birthday. He was quite distraught with a heavy heart as he reflected back on the years, recalling his friends and the love of his life, Kay. I have never seen a man who was so devoted to the commitment of love he had for this lady. All conversation somehow came back to her, as he would often reflect on how happy she made him. Her death was the cancer that slowly consumed him. It tugged at his heartstrings and consumed his every thought. The desire to be united with her was now stronger than the love of anything this earthly world could provide. I miss the phone calls and surely will miss him even more upon my next visit to Barbados. The trinkets he made for me I will cherish forever. The conversations at sunset as we sat on his beloved patio will always remain a positive thing in my life. Carl has become part of the beauty he so admired. The river of life has brought him to be among all that was missing. With the lucky old sun, he can now see his patio from an angle I could never capture with my lens. Dear Lord above, can't you hear 'em crying? Tears are in my eyes. Send down a cloud with a silver lining. Take me to paradise. Show me that river, lead me across, and take all my troubles away. Like the lucky old sun, I'll have nothing to do but roll around in heaven all day.